The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, come on in. Thanks for waiting in the boring waiting room, those of you who are here early. We've got a lot coming at you, so we had a lot of practicing to do in the last few minutes here. Marguerite Giguere and Ann Jones joining us. Rev up your video marketing. We're revved up already. Lots of videos to play for you today. And you already have the content. You may not know it, but everything you do every day probably has a video component to it. Marguerite and Ann will tell you all about it here. Secrets to Top Selling Agents comes to you free every month from Homes.com. So follow Homes Pro on Twitter and join the Twitter conversation during the webinar. #Secrets Webinars. That's the tag. You can ask questions there, but the easier way is just to ask a question in the GoToWebinar control panel. You see that down there, questions. You can hit the plus sign if you need to expand. And that's a question and a comment section. So if you have comments for us, you can leave a comment there as well. If something's not, if you can't see something or hear something, let us know. In fact, let's ask you a question right now. Take a guess. If you don't know already, what is Local Connect? What is Local Connect from Homes.com? And do it in a few words. If you don't know, you're going to find out. At the end of the webinar today, Hillary Hertler joins us for a 6-minute presentation. She's quick. The product is very simple, but very powerful. So it's a quick presentation and one you're not going to want to miss at the top of the next hour. And after this webinar is done, check out some of the more than 80 recorded webinars. secretswebinars.com. And next month, you'll want to register at secretswebinars.com for Tom Ferry joining us, May 20th, 1 p.m. Eastern, The Rich and the Rest, Distinctions of High Performance Selling. Which one are you? Join Tom and find out and change it if you need to. Okay, and are you doing video marketing right now? Let's use the comment section, which is also the question section. Are you doing video right now? Let us know. In fact, I've got to use my little plus sign and expand my questions so that we can get to your questions there, which are comments as well. We've got folks using YouTube, some, a little bit, yes. Well, great. That's why we said rev it up, because we want to take what you're doing and double, triple it. Some YouTube. Great. Looks like everybody's doing some. Fantastic. Well, we'll start in a few minutes, or actually just a minute or two. Secrets to Top Selling Agents with Marguerite and Ann coming up.
Not what you send, it's that you do.
I don't sleep. All my emails are personalized.
My houses come up in the first week.
Recording that testimony.
Really, the more you have to be organized.
Not to put all your eggs into one basket.
Keep those people remembering you. Give them what they're looking for.
But properly priced is the key.
I say, how can I do this different? You know, we don't have a technology problem, we have a people problem.
You have to build a relationship.
Secrets of Top-Selling Agents with your hosts, Deborah Halloran and Mel McMurrin.
Welcome, my name's Deb Halloran, and I'm the producer and host of Secrets of Top-Selling Agents, coming to you live from our Northern California Cobb Mountain studio. And I'm here, as always, with my sound engineer and co-host, Mel. Good morning, Mel.
Good morning, Deb.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm excited and very busy at the controls today.
Yes, you are. We've got a lot of videos to show you, and I'm very happy to introduce Marguerite Giguere and Ann Jones, a dynamic real estate duo living and working in Tacoma, Washington. Ann is a working listing agent specializing in the greater Tacoma area since 2008 and has been creating her own listing videos since 2011. Ann partnered with Marguerite to create informative, fun, and content-rich videos for their clients.
Marguerite has been an agent in downtown Tacoma, specializing in buyers since 2005. She blogs at getrealtacoma.com and creates videos at youtube.com/the skydiving agent.
Ann and Marguerite are sought-after speakers, and they are not partners in business, but they are partners in video marketing. Welcome, Marguerite and Ann. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're actually going to see them. We're going to see them on video. Mel's got the, hey, we can see you but not hear you. Can we hear you?
Yes, we will in just a second. We all have our hands full today. I still see you muted. Click the little green microphone. Don't
We're
hear
good.
you yet.
There you go. Hey.
We're fighting over the trackpad on the computer.
Well, that's probably a question. How do you keep from fighting over everything?
Yeah.
Oh, we're partners in business and in life.
That's nice. Very nice. Actually, you're going to recommend that everyone find their partner in business and in life to do this kind of marketing together, right?
It's always nice to have a work wife.
Yes, we're work spouses.
That's great. Well, let's hear about how to stand out.
So for us, video marketing is this incredible opportunity right now. The market, at least where we're at, the market is very good. And so, standing out from other agents is something that I think almost every listing and even every buyer's agent is interested in doing. Video gives you a really unique way to do that. So today we're hoping to show some examples of ways other agents have already achieved that.
And I would say that standing out, I think most of us know that when you stand out and your client chooses you, it gives you a much higher quality transaction and much better interactions with your clients. And that leads to better quality of realtor life.
Well, and lots of people have heard about how you can stand out online. I think that's one of the more common pitches, and it's what gets people interested. Video obviously ranks really highly with Google owning YouTube. There's a lot of discussion around that. But I think we're most interested, and we've had the most success with the fact, like Marguerite's talking about, that video makes you stand out with a potential client. They pick you, and that's a really lovely feeling.
Wow. Let's see some examples.
I just want to tell our audience that because we have webcam and slides today,
right,
they can change the size of that. There's a little white equal sign, 2 little white slashes, and you can slide those to the left or right or up and down, depending on which way you have the screen. And
is this where we lobby for our screen to be as big as this?
You could, although, for this section,
we're out of control on that one.
Yeah, we're going to bring you back, because right now you've got a lot to tell us about these videos that are coming out. So everybody hold that. I'm going to turn your webcam off for now, but
okay.
You'll come back for the second half. Let's see some videos. What are we going to see?
So we know that one of the great reasons to do video is that it evokes emotion better than practically any other medium. And if you have not been moved by one of these videos with animals and their soldiers, I don't know, your heart must be made of stone.
Remembering.
Oh, I think we all know this feeling, like you're going about your day and you're on Facebook, maybe just flipping over there, and you see something like this, and maybe you get a tear in your eye, or you just feel really happy. I think the opportunity in real estate is to have that same effect on people.
And you might be thinking, well, this is kind of a stretch. I mean, what's the connection? But the reality is, we know you're trying to make an emotional connection with your potential clients. This is nothing new. So a lot of times we get caught talking about people want to say, oh, you're doing a new thing. This is the same deal. This is still a relationship business, and video affords us wonderful opportunity. So let's take a look at somebody who's doing a great job making that connection with potential clients. These are our friends, Kim and Chavi, Team Diva Real Estate out of Seattle. And let's watch their video.
This is Kim Colapretti with Team Diva Real Estate at Coldwell Banker Bain, and we're here right on Pike Street, just a little bit off Broadway in the heart of Capitol Hill. We're situated right inside this awesome boutique store called Retail Therapy. So come on in and check out our space. This is the Diva HQ, right upstairs in the loft space inside Retail Therapy. Come upstairs and check it out.
So I think what's really cool about this is that, you've never met Kim or her team. You can already get an idea of what it is that they're all about. You know that they're likable, they're in an urban environment, and that they're not your average realtor. I think they've got dogs in their office, they're in a loft. You're learning all this about them, and we've only been watching for, 25 seconds.
So to us, this is a great example of an excellent brand video. So let's take a look at another one, and this one, it's us! It's starring us. So once you've made this type of video and you're being authentically yourself, I think the great part is it's not a one-shot deal. This content, if done right, can hang around and work for you around the clock.
Yeah, in fact, we made this video 2 years ago, I think.
Yep.
And, well, go ahead and start it. About how to get your house ready to sell.
Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
I'm not a truck favorite field. What do you want to talk about today? Lemon? Nope. Try again. We're very citrusy today. Making lemonade out of lemons? That was last year's market. Oh, what are we talking about? 2013. How about staging your home? Oh, right. That's why we have fake fruit. Classic lemon.
So we go from here into a very serious conversation on things that need to be, well, I don't know, maybe not too serious, but a very common discussion on getting your house ready and what are some of the common things that you need to address if you're a potential seller. And when we did this first round of videos, the way we picked our topics were just common questions and conversations that we were having with clients already. It's one of the easiest ways to overcome sort of nervousness about what kind of video am I going to make? What should I talk about? These were discussions that we were already having. And so by filming the answers to those questions, we then had content that we could share out. And Marguerite does a great job with this by email, for instance.
Right. So I try to send out in response to common questions, I'll have a brief explanation, in the email, and then I'll link to a series of videos that answer the question for people that want to go more in depth. Another thing that's been really cool is obviously as we film these videos, we've shared them out on Facebook, and our friends and our sphere have seen these, and they're sort of brought up in our thinking. So we have friends that 2 years ago watched this video and thought it was really funny, and now they remember it as they're ready to list their house. They're referencing these videos as it's time to put their house on the market. Like it's a great way to be in communication in an amusing and pleasant way with your clients, but also keeping everybody educated.
You love to say, she's being shy. She loves to say that we indoctrinate our clients with our way of thinking before we start.
It's brainwashing, friends. That's what this is all about.
So let's look at a little different style that still is personal. This next video. So Becky was somebody that you.
Yes, I discovered Becky at an open house in Dallas. Somebody told me about her video. I've never met her, and I'm a little obsessed with her. I'm not gonna lie. Let's watch.
I've been selling one thing or another since I was a little girl. Whether it's going door to door or working in my dad's hardware stores, selling comes naturally to me. I'm Becky Fry, and I've been selling residential real estate since 1983. I believe a lot of my success comes with being able to match my buyers with the right home. Just intuition and getting to know them and knowing their personality, and then the personality of each community brings it all together. And at the end, I feel like I'm a little bit of a matchmaker.
most of the neighborhoods are.
Does anybody want to be Becky right now?
I want to be Becky a little bit. And also, if I had a $20 million house to sell in Dallas, I feel confident calling Becky. Like, she seems like she can handle it.
But again, you know, in 15 or 20 seconds, just like you did with Kim and Javi, you get a good feel for her that I think people spend thousands and thousands of dollars and lots of time trying to convey through other mediums. And this is such an effective way to reach people. So we thought that was a really powerful video. We both enjoyed that one. Let's look at another type of video, maybe a different way to convey emotion.
And Marguerite, one person said this video is choppy. It's okay, everyone. The videos are choppy, so it's not just you. And it's just we're playing video through the GoToWebinar platform. But we're going to be sending you links to all these videos after the webinar. Homes.com will be sending you these in the after webinar email. Sorry, go ahead.
And you know, it's take the time definitely to watch some of these off of the webinar because they're all worth it. So another way that you can use emotion to connect with your clients that is highly profitable is when you're presenting a listing. And this is an example of a listing that I had here in Tacoma, a property where the location and the lifestyle were the key selling features more so than the house.
This was a $250,000 house, right?
So this is one of the things with me is that I do videos for my houses at all price ranges, but I really thought about who was going to buy this house before we did the marketing and figured out the positioning. And this is a really cool area in town. And we know that a lot of the online research says people are going online to YouTube, not just to look for properties themselves, but they're interested in community information. And so if you have a property where that's one of its strongest features, video is an excellent way to highlight that. I mean, in the listing description, I could have talked about the parks and the restaurants and things, but that's not nearly as powerful. So here we are, you know, a good minute into the video before we actually see the property. And at this point, I think they've already decided that they want to come and check it out. So this is a little different strategy, and it was effective in this case. This video has been cited and was memorable for a lot of people.
Well, I think what Anne won't say about this is it kind of got everybody real estate wise kind of talking. Like Anne said, a little bit of a new record for that neighborhood when this house sold quickly. So like it actually does sell the house. And I think sometimes we're so, you know, we're trying to keep up. You know, we know we're supposed to do video. We want to make our sellers happy. But in the end, this sells the house and it connects with the clients and it can get you more money.
Well, and again, in this very fast moving market, this is a good opportunity to say, to address the question around why would I want to spend money on video? This comes up a lot, and people are asking me this. You know, my property is selling really quickly. Why would I want to invest in video? Well, for one, you might get your seller more money. Two, this video doesn't just play the one time. So you're marketing the property, but you're also marketing yourself. You're potentially marketing this neighborhood. You know, there's a lot further reach than just that one house. So for me, that's one of the reasons I continue to choose to invest in video. So
I'm on a list with you after seeing this video.
This next video is an agent out of our office, and I think it's a great example. So she's doing a Q&A, kind of like what Marguerite and I did with our videos, but it's a totally different feel, and you get an accurate sense of who she is. Let's watch her video.
Hey, thanks for joining me today. We are filming at the lovely Commencement Condominiums on Ruston Way in beautiful Tacoma, Washington. Recently, I've been fielding a lot of questions from clients who are purchasing for the first time, and also some folks who haven't purchased in a couple of decades, but they'd really like to know why the loan process is so complicated. So I want to talk about that. First, let's pull out your notebook.
I think what's so funny, I mean, with Jasmine, like, you totally know what she's like when you watch her for a minute or two. And the way that she answers questions, I mean, what did she just say that was so funny that we had to like kind of quiet our laughter? She's like, people who are buying their first house or haven't bought in a couple of decades, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
and she's a really, really skilled agent. I mean, experienced, and I think, you know, we were really proud of her for getting out there and doing video because she's the perfect example. that she has this wonderful personality that comes to light on film once she relaxed and let it kind of run with it. So
she's also someone, I don't think she would mind me saying this, who had a lot of fear around video. You know, I think a lot of us, we might be friendly or have a really easy time with connecting people in real life, but the idea of being on video is just terrifying. You know, it's like you're a deer in the headlights. And I think it's just such a triumph to see her doing these videos now, because you know, she's going to be attracting high quality clients that already like her. And, you know, she's able to do that because she put herself out there, and it's just really exciting to see. Plus, you know, she's educating her clients, which she's going to have some smart clients.
And that's a signature of her style anyway.
Marguerite?
So our next video.
Oh, Marguerite?
Yes.
How long did it take you to help her go from feeling self-conscious to being relaxed on camera?
So we did a few different things, like, you know, we got up and like kind of like wiggled a little bit. I sang her little songs. Like, I think she was probably in the total zone within an hour or so. Like, okay. We did 3 separate days of shooting and got 6 videos out of it.
Wow.
But there's another good example there, which is even though somebody wasn't on camera with Jasmine in this shoot, Marguerite was there. And I think having, again, you know, trying to achieve that conversational tone, that's one of the biggest challenges when you're talking into the camera. And, you know, the cameraman here is an awesome guy who's friendly and easy to deal with. But you maybe bringing someone on set with you to help you chat with and help you relax is a good tip for people who are starting out.
And what's funny is she said to me, like, oh, I've got it now. Like, I don't need someone to talk to anymore. Like, you know, that first day was so hard, and now it's like she learned how to do it. And that's what's really exciting, is it's a little bit of a muscle.
That's encouraging for everyone to know.
And if you don't like the way you look or sound when you watch a video, you are not special. Nobody likes the way they look and sound on video. So just accept, release. You're never probably going to like it, but just know that your clients are going to like it a lot.
Right. Good point.
So we're circling back here. This is another example of getting your personality across while also accomplishing something that your clients really want. So this is Team Diva Real Estate again out of Seattle, and talking about one of the neighborhoods that they work in.
So we're driving through one of the most beautiful neighborhoods in Northeast Capitol Hill. When I think of Capitol Hill, this is a neighborhood I think of when you want to think of beautiful, turn-of-the-century, four-square, Dutch colonial, Tudor houses. There's some stunning, beautiful, iconic homes in this neighborhood. It's right east of Volunteer Park.
So when there's deceptive simplicity in this video, in my mind, because it works for a variety of reasons. One is that this is the experience, right? This is the experience that every buyer is waiting for, to get in the car and go look at homes. You know, they're so excited to do exactly this. Kim is demonstrating knowledge about the neighborhood, knowledge about the architecture. You're also getting, an accurate sense of, this is what it's going to be like. You know, do I want to go out and look for properties with her? I am ready to do this. And I mean, this is not a complicated shoot necessarily. They have a great video guy who's doing stuff for them, but it's really showing mastery of where you work. You know, Chavi's talking about the neighborhood here. This is something that everyone can do, but it also requires that you know what you're talking about, that you work in an area, you know, that you've defined your niche, for example, and know your market and who you're speaking to. But this would definitely call to me if I were in the market for a home in Capitol Hill. I think this is a great video.
And Carrie said that this is my old neighborhood.
Aw, lucky Carrie. That's a great place to be.
Yeah, really.
So let's look here. So this is another, this is a great way of taking a traditional practice, right? Every real estate agent has been told and understands the value of testimonials.
And reviews.
Yeah, online reviews. And here's the team.
This is Melanie and Brendan in Toronto. It's a very active sellers market. And they have a version of this testimonial for buyers and one for sellers. And I find their seller video especially, it's so persuasive.
I think condo loft sold in 3 or 4 days?
I believe our property took 8 days to sell from the time it was listed to the time the deal came in. And that was the fastest that any unit in our building had sold.
From the time I looked at the house that I did end up purchasing that morning to having bought it, firmed it up, listed my place, and sold my place was 13 days from start to finish.
We were not expecting.
So what really, I mean, makes this go, obviously, is not only people speaking on their behalf, but I mean, they're in their spaces, you know, it just, the Brel team knows marketing, they know branding, I mean, they're geniuses in that regard. And so another thing to remember is that when you put video out, it's clearly a reflection of who you are, how you present, your professionalism, you know, your taste. There's a lot of things that go between the lines that don't have to be stated, because that's really conveyed in a visual medium like this.
I know I did a client testimonial about 1.5 years ago, and I was a video, and I was so worried about it at first. I remember thinking like, oh, I wonder if my clients would want to be on video. Like, what if they don't want to talk on video? You know, I think I hear that from other agents a lot too. Like, oh, my clients, you know, I don't want to bother them with this. And I went on Facebook and I just said, hey, any of my clients want to be on video? I'm filming on this day and this day. And I had more people than I could film. Like, your clients probably want, if you know, their ego's in it a little bit. They chose you, you know, they feel like that was a good decision. They want to talk about it. I think you'll be surprised. And let me tell you, the other really amazing part of having one of these videos is we all have those real estate days where this job is really hard and life is really hard and maybe deals aren't going well, and you can turn on one of these client testimonial videos. I think I have like, you know, like 600 views on my client testimonial video. I'm sure like 150 of those are me, just like on sad days.
But those are hugely persuasive. And even if you're in a seller's market, you know, think about, they're online, they're looking for who's going to list their property, and this makes the Brel team stand out. So well done by them. So we are, let's talk a little bit about nuts and bolts here on this. I think we're coming back on. There we are.
Hey, there you go.
So one of the, if we haven't persuaded you by now that video is worth your time and energy, hopefully you'll go back through and watch some of those and give it a second thought. If you are thinking about, all right, I'm in, this is a question we get a lot of times, like, okay, you convinced me, how do we get going? We're happy to talk a little bit about how we got started and some of the tools that maybe you can utilize if you're interested in doing some video. So let's click through, and we have control of the slides now, right?
Almost.
Oh, come on, Mel.
Actually, you do. I never took it away from you.
Oh, see,
Okay.
we all had to power along.
So even though you're probably jumping right to, you know, what kind of camera do I need and all of these questions, I think before you even organize a shoot, look at your topic and, you know, what you're hoping to put out there, and think about things like the shelf life. You know, am I shooting something, since it's going to take time and money, that will have more than just a quick run? There is a place for quick, timely, you know, kind of time-sensitive videos, but you're not going to want to spend $1,000 producing one of those probably. So look at the shelf life, know the story you're trying to tell. Clearly, there is power in storytelling through video. So you do want to give that some thought. If you don't think you're creative enough, I was thinking about Melanie and that great house video they did, you might need to hire somebody to do the storyboard for you or to do the screenwriting. I mean, there's other folks you can get involved. If you do hire someone, please ask to see their prior work. Just like if you were hiring a real estate photographer, there's varying degrees of skill. I feel like photography and videography is a realm where there's a lot of sort of amateur upstart people there, and you might find a gem who will do great work for you, but get a sample first before you invest too much. Number 4, you love that.
Yeah, audio quality. I think people will watch kind of a subpar quality video, but they need to be able to hear you very clearly. And I think people just will not put up with bad audio. And if you think yourself when you're flipping through YouTube trying to find the answer to a question or watching videos, I mean, most of us just really won't watch anything with bad audio. So I think the most important thing is just making sure people can hear you clearly. And, you know, back to number 2 about what story you're trying to tell. I think just being really clear about who you're trying to reach and how they like to receive information.
don't be afraid. The whole aspect of being all things to all people, I think that's, again, in all areas of marketing and our business, that's where some people get hung up, is I'm afraid this video is going to turn a certain audience off. That was one of the things that we really learned, is that don't be afraid of that. You know, commit to something, because it'll be really interesting to the people you're trying to hit. So we're going to go forward. Let's see if this works here. Can we flip, Mel? It just has a little bit.
A 2-minute break. That's our next slide, right?
Oh, sorry. Okay. 2-minute break.
So I can take over, and we'll say goodbye to you guys. What, you
Okay.
sip some coffee or
Except
what?
that Marguerite and Anne, I put in one of your slides, so you might want to speak to it in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, in a second.
An ad slide. So yeah, let's keep going.
Oh, okay.
So the next
So you only get a 1-minute break.
Okay.
Yeah. We're working you in your break. So the next webinar is Tom Ferry, and that's coming up here. Tom is, as you know, like on the top of the list relative to speakers around the country. Don't miss this. Now, if you have something on that date, sign up anyway, and we'll send you the link so you can hear it after. Go ahead for Local Connect now.
You bet. So write these numbers down. If you're an agent, 888-510-8795, a broker, 866-697-3308, because you're going to want to call about Local Connect today. The zip codes are flying off the shelf. There are still some available. Hillary can give you an idea how it works and maybe even what zip codes might be available.
And Hillary will be speaking after
That's right.
6 minutes.
Top of the next hour, 6 minutes, real short and real informative. It's Local Connect. And then if you guys are still on, why don't you, in fact, let's...
Marguerite and Ann, let us know
on.
about your join us in Denver.
Hey, we're going to be in Denver next week. We are really, really excited. And this is going to be real agents talking about their business, just like us.
We got this awesome code.
That's
if
right.
you are anywhere near Denver and you want to come, it's a pretty small event. I think it's going to be 300 attendees. They still have tickets left. So they gave us a code. If you enter the code Secret Hustle when you sign up, the first 10 people from this webinar will get to go free. And after 10, you get $5 off. And it's only $30 anyway. So it's a pretty good deal. And it's going to be very hands-on. We're actually excited to learn.
That's the part. I mean, there's going to be speakers in the front half of the day, and the back half of the day will be a little more bar camp style. So you'll have a chance to ask questions and interact. I can't wait to listen to some of the folks who are going to be there as well.
And actually, Melanie, who did the client testimonial video, she's going to be there. Team Diva Real Estate, Kim and Chavi, with the video from before, they're going to be there. Like, lots of cool people are going to be there.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
Great. And do they dance the hustle at the end of the weekend?
Next slide.
Okay, and we're back.
Back to Judge Judy.
Okay. So listen, we know, our experience has been that the first thing when you tell people they should shoot video, they're like, I'd love to, but I can't.
Can't.
Like Marguerite said, I mean, I don't like the way I look.
I have like 3 chins on video. I don't want to look at that all day.
And the harshest realization is this: that's actually what you look like.
That's my chin. My clients have seen it before.
In a side profile, riding in the car.
Oh, all day long.
So one of the great epiphanies for us out of shooting video has been like, hey, get over it. People still like you. You know, you do look and sound like that. You are a little crazy. They love you for it. So the more real you can be, the better. That's probably the biggest lesson that we've learned.
And, you know, I don't have any illusions about the idea that, you know, maybe sometimes being on camera turns off a client or two.
Absolutely. But we're not meant to do business with everyone.
They would have eventually not liked you riding in the car with you anyway. So let's save some time and attract all those awesome people that love you.
So that's the biggest thing for us. And do we get control of the slides yet, Mel?
Yes, right now you should have control.
And Jones likes to be in control.
Yeah, really, you should be.
Anybody who knows. I'm just thinking, sorry, but I'm not able to click a
It's not doing it for you.
Yeah.
Let me advance one and then...
While you work it out, I just want to let everyone know, some of you have put some great questions in, and we will be letting Anne and Marguerite answer your questions in about 15 minutes, so hang in there.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we would hate to miss this George Clooney slide.
It's fantastic.
Look, nobody looks perfect all the time.
Yeah, it would be a shame to not get that. So Okay, I'm trying. And I saw the controls pop up down there, Mel.
That's only when he does it.
Yeah, if you just click, you can use your side arrows. You should be able to.
Yeah, there's a delay, but I think you should stop clicking it.
I think so we're just going to go with a next slide.
Okay.
Okay.
You can say ding or whatever.
Yeah. So this is a really good one. This is another common question that we get or objection. I'd love to, and really you do start getting very awkward on camera when you start trying to go over sort of scripted scenarios, unless you are a gifted former child actress. Then if you're like I am, I mean, when you start going, okay, I'm going to talk about these 3 things, it does get really awkward. So if you go with things that you are comfortable speaking about, which, my goodness, we give more speeches, we explain more contracts, I mean, we counsel people, we do all of this as part of our jobs, stay in that zone and it will feel more comfortable to you. And with practice, the process of being on camera does get easier.
Yeah, and you learn to sort of listen when you're talking with your clients. You sort of notice, oh gosh, that should really be a video. Gosh, I've explained this 4 or 5 times this month. This is what people want to know right now. Like, time to explain how this works on camera and save people time.
Okay, next slide, please. So this is a big one, and you know what? This maybe isn't as common of an objection as it should be. I think this is our objection.
Yeah, we know a lot of agents that are spending a lot of money on video, that are doing really amazing stuff, and I don't, they have like 25 views on their video. Personally, if I spent $300 or $400 on a video and nobody watched it, that would be sad.
It's a shame. So it makes us sad. There are videos that are just parked out to rest, and they're never going to see the light of day like they should.
Set the videos free.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hashtag.
That's because they don't know how to upload it somewhere?
No, well, it's because they don't have a distribution plan for it. And so you cannot expect, somebody said to me the other day something like, well, I've got it on YouTube, but nobody sees it. Well, there's a billion videos on YouTube, and
literally.
And you probably didn't put in good remarks and tags. I mean, there's definitely a science to that part of it. So just like you're going to come up with a great storyline or target audience before you shoot your video, you need to have an equally thorough plan for how you're going to get your videos seen.
And just as an example, I'll just share my plan really quick. So I'll upload a video to YouTube. And if it's a listing video or something, you can put a link to the actual listing in the description on YouTube. Or my preferred plan is put the video on YouTube, embed the video in a blog post that you write, then it lives forever on your blog and on your website, and you're driving people to your website to watch the video. And in that blog post, you can take that, share that on Facebook, Twitter, and everywhere else. And again, you're always driving people back to your website. Facebook also now gives us the opportunity to direct upload our videos to Facebook, which is something we've been playing with a lot.
Did you see that video that I posted last week? One of the things is when you do that direct upload to Facebook.
Oh, the Hilltop video?
Did you see the comments? Somebody
1,400 views.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Ann List's house in Hilltop, which is one of our emerging neighborhoods. It's not a super expensive neighborhood. And she uploads the video to her Facebook, and like it got this celebrity attention. It was a really cute video on a really cute little house, and they're getting 1,400 views on Facebook.
With I think that was with a $5 boost.
$5.
Oh, so it was shared organically, but the part that was so great that I had forgotten is that Facebook displays how many views on that post. And so one of mutual friend that we have who's very well connected wrote, what, 1.4 thousand views. It was just a really great moment because it was very authentic and organic. So do please have a plan, and we'll dive into that a little bit further.
Next. We're staring.
I can't afford this, and the easiest way to answer this, because I know we have a lot more content to get into, you can't afford not to. And I know that sounds trite, but it is the best return on your investment. ROI gets thrown around so much in this business, but this is your marketing for now, for the future. And it attracts the best clients. I think that's our big thing, is that the return on it is.
I'm thinking of, our first set of videos that we paid $500 for 2 years ago. They still play all the time. They still get views every day, every night. People are watching these videos. I can't think of another form. I mean, it's a little, wow, it is kind of intense. Yeah. I mean, but like, I can't think of another type of real estate marketing that we can do that you pay and it lives forever. You know, YouTube isn't charging us to continue to host those videos. Facebook isn't charging us to host those videos. They're out there for life once you do it. And that's until you take them down. That's really
we're
exciting.
trying to encourage them to get in, not scare the daylights out of them. Okay, let's go into our next section then here. Oh, one more. And I want to speak to this because I made a commitment in 2011 to start doing videos because I knew it was something that was important. I'd heard all of these conversations about videos of the future and all the traffic and all that kind of stuff. And I personally wasn't comfortable being on camera. And so I knew committing to videos for my listings was a great opportunity to differentiate myself. Well, in our market, the average sales price is around $250,000. And so you either, you know, you could be a luxury agent, but let's be honest, 5 years ago in our market, luxury was not the place to be. Nothing was selling in that segment. And so I don't think you need to rule this out because of price. The millennials are coming. You might have heard they like video, they're on the internet, they use mobile.
Largest generation in home buying history.
Yeah, I mean, so the idea, I've had a couple people say, like, is that necessary? Even sellers, actually, on their properties, you know, is it necessary to do a video on a $250,000 property?
Well, and things are not the way they were when we started doing video. It's a fast-moving market now.
Right.
Things are going to sell.
But I would argue that often the demographic, so in our market, $250,000, that's kind of a first-time home buyer, you know, entry level for the area that we work. That person is very plugged in. That person is going to share and view, and you're getting that seller more money for their property. And in a lot of cases, our $250,000 seller becomes a $400,000 buyer.
Absolutely.
That's a great package to have. So I think you have to look again beyond the single transaction and look at this as a part of everyday marketing and not just my special one-off kind of thing.
Would you like to speak, right before we go into money here, would you like to speak at all to the idea of your listing videos become your future prospecting? Is that a later slide?
No, I mean, we can certainly discuss that. For me, my biggest spend on marketing is videos. It's still very, very reasonable. I'm not a huge listing agent, so I don't have 100 houses to shoot videos for, but it's and I started, since it's okay, let's go ahead and go into the money piece.
Yeah, let's talk about money.
Everybody wants to talk about money.
I like it.
So in the beginning, along the lines of how do I get started, we actually bought the camera, the computer, the software. I mean, it's a fairly expensive startup. Just like people who do a good job shooting their own listing photos, you know, you need a great lens, you need a great camera. You're several $1,000s into it, particularly with video. You've got all of those elements and then some other equipment that you need to shoot. My husband was interested. It was a fun thing for him initially. And then as I got busier and the demand around it increased, it wasn't practical. He has a full-time job. He can't be my assistant, apparently. So I started hiring that out. And I know a lot of people, they don't know where to find a videographer in their market. So that's one of your first orders of business, is to get out there. If you want to do it yourself, really consider, I mean, do a little research and consider what the cost is, because you do need all of this stuff to do great listing videos. Shooting videos, lighting is another thing. I can speak to that.
Yeah.
But shooting other kinds of videos, so say like the agent bio, that type of thing. I guess the biggest part to remember is that these are going to be an extension of your brand. So when you're making these decisions, think about how you want your brand to be portrayed.
I recently talked with a good friend of mine who is an agent in a market not unlike ours. You know, she was emphasizing, you know, I sell a lot of houses, but they're all $225,000. Like, I'm not in Orange County. I'm not in Beverly Hills doing a lot of the videos that we often see as realtors are these top producers with luxury properties. And she was saying, like, that's not me. Like, but she wanted to increase her price point, and she was doing more luxury. And she was saying, like, I'll just do, you know, something like, you know, on my webcam or on my phone. I'll just do it in my car. I'll just be very informal. And I think there are people that advocate for that. I am not one of them. I want to look like a high quality agent in the videos. Even if my style is more informal and I am a little bit goofy, I want people to know, like, I want people to be able to hear me. I want to be lit well. And I want people to respect what I'm saying and take me seriously. And I think when you're sloppy with your video, people might interpret that as sloppy with your real estate business. Even though that's not the case, I think you can give that impression.
And it's a very subtle but really distinct sort of thing. And again, I'm sorry that we're running simultaneously with another webinar, because there's a webinar on right now about millennials that I think we'll all go back and listen to the recording on. But you know, that demographic in particular, I think has high expectations. When you watch a video on BuzzFeed, you know, like the 7 things your spouse does that drive you crazy, and it's so amusing, it's shot, I mean, with near professional quality.
Yeah.
Like that's what people have come to expect, even for casual videos. And I saw, I don't know, you know, your friends share things in your feed, and you realize like that bar is higher than I think most people in the industry understand.
I remember like 10 years ago, before we were talking about Facebook and before we were talking about video, it was all about print. And people would say, you know, you need to do 100-pound glossy cover stock with professional photos and get a professional designer, because this is the physical impression of you. Like you have this, you know, photocopied on yellow copy paper brochure, and then you have this really nice, like, full color brochure. People are going to think this is a higher quality agent. And I think video has kind of moved into that space now, where it's like, if you can shoot it, you know, by yourself in your car, you can shoot it on your laptop, poorly lit and bad audio, but people are going to perceive the agent with a higher quality video is a higher quality agent, and that's just human nature.
Well, and that part, you'd be better off to have one really high quality, say, biography video. So if you're struggling with this, if you're thinking like, I don't want to spend the money, because unfortunately I think that's a lot of the reason that people lean into the DIY. I think the second piece is just, I don't know where to hire someone, you know, I want to get started.
That's what intimidated me.
Yeah, you know, it's a package to put together. But if you have a chunk of money, invest in one great video. You know, Marguerite has a really amazing profile video that is her personal biography. It looks like her, it sounds like her, it's this great portrayal of her. If you only did one video, that would be money well spent. It could be in your email signature. You could send it to potential sellers, you know, your buyers who are meeting with you. That will be a great investment. So we can probably move, let's see. Yeah, so hiring a pro, the advantages here, you know, they're handling the equipment. There's a lot of equipment. There's a lot that can go wrong with it. Even just, I have shot and I still edit my own videos, but it's a big process, you guys, and schlepping all that stuff around, dealing with the memory cards and the giant files. I have total respect for our videographer, because he handles all of that flawlessly.
We were shooting a video last weekend, and he just casually mentions, he's like, yeah, I've saved up, I think I'm gonna buy another lens. And I was like, awesome, I'm not paying for that lens. Like my next video will cost the same, only now there will be an awesome new lens, or he'll get an awesome new piece of like slider equipment, or he was like, bought a drone. And I'm like, you know, like we don't have to buy any of that stuff. It just makes our videos better.
How much does he charge an hour?
$100.
Yeah, something like, yeah. We don't usually pay hourly. He has packages for most agents that are based on, you know, a fully produced and edited video. So sometimes Anne will get footage that she'll edit herself because she likes to do her own editing. My niece is getting into video editing, so I'm getting footage from him and giving it to her to edit, which is something you can do. You know, you can contact your local university that has a video editing program and find someone who's more affordable. In my experience, when it comes to that, I mean, if you're really on a budget, and I mean, you know, I'm a pretty budgety minded person. Like if I can cut a little bit of a corner and save a little bit of money, I like to do it. But as long as I can get the same end product. So just know, if you go to your college, your local university or your college or your tech school or whatever, and you get someone like that, they need a lot more guidance. Well, like that's the downside, is if you don't really know what you want and you turn it over to a teenager or someone who's just getting started, you can't really expect like amazing quality. You have to guide them a lot.
This actually goes though, I know we're wandering a little bit, but we told you we might get into the weeds.
That's all right.
This goes to me along the lines of knowing what you're shooting again, and also understanding that a great video is, I mean, shooting it is only a portion of it. Editing takes a lot of time. They're huge files. I know the videographer mentioned to me recently that he kind of wished people would tune into the fact that they need to help prep the house. And, but also, like, when you ask for a little change 20 times, that takes them a lot of time. So one of the reasons that I edit my own videos is because I want to be able to make those tweaks. But editing is a huge part of the process. So shooting is just one step, and then the editing is another big piece. So be respectful of that and know that it's definitely a talent. But you also, if you're going to hire somebody, I think the temptation, many agents hire photographers, and their assistant goes and they let them into the house. this is kind of under the tips, tricks, and secrets category. But,
Yeah.
you know, their assistant goes and opens the house up, or the individual has a lockbox access. You need to be there.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be conveying. Your job as the real estate professional, in my opinion, is to tell that videographer, this is what makes the house special. If you can't be there, give them a list, you know, give them key shots that you want, but expecting them to make those decisions for you, you know, to know everything about the house, you better be prepared to pay for that, because that sounds like a really great videographer to me. So just a thought.
Will has a question. What program do you use to edit your videos?
I work in Final Cut Pro.
Okay.
On a Mac.
So this year I bought a Mac. This summer I bought a Mac and I got Final Cut, and I was like, I'm going to be just like Ann Jones and I'm going to edit my own videos. Ask me how many videos I've edited. Like, I just sit in front of it and I was like, I'm smart. I've taught myself WordPress. I've taught myself all these programs. Yeah. I'm going to teach myself Final Cut, and it has not yet happened.
And I'm not advocating. So I like
it's way easier to pay somebody.
Right. That's a massive program, and it has a huge learning curve, and I only can work in a fraction of what it does. Right. So
and you have a husband to help you. You have a husband to help you, right?
My husband, he was the one who trained me, and but he's busy and I'm busy, and I wouldn't advocate that that's necessarily the right way to do it. It's very time consuming.
But you have someone train you. So.
Yeah, and staying involved in the process. I mean, understanding what goes into it is great. So if you want to do some things yourself, you know, here's a list. We've used some of these at various points. There's some great options here for maybe half and half, like HD hat, you know, some of these where you can shoot it and somebody else will edit it and put it together. Marguerite has done some awesome buyer videos through Videolicious for a little more packaged product.
Yeah, so I know, like, when you have a relocating client and they're like sending you a bunch of houses and they're like, what do you think about all of these? And, you know, maybe they're coming in for just a weekend, and on that weekend you need to find them a house. What I've started doing is you go to the house, you make a video for all the agents that don't do listing videos. You can make a video of the house with you kind of narrating it, saying, yeah, it does kind of smell, or, oh, this view is really great. I'm not sure if you can really see, but it's really nice. And then you can send that to them and they can narrow it down. And I actually had a client buy a condo sight unseen. They were not able to come out and see the house before they bought it. They were relocating from Korea to Tacoma, and they did it all off a Videolicious video that I made them, and that was nerve-wracking as all get out. So then I ended up making a Videolicious video of them seeing their house for the first time, which got shared around quite a bit, because how crazy is that?
Which I think that's a great example. So when we're talking about time and place for more sort of improvisational videos, you know, there are some tools like Videolicious that allow you to do that in, again, a slightly more polished way, because it adds good music to it. Marguerite's a master at karaoke, and so music, like the musical choices to her videos, were totally part of the finished product. So that's a good one to check out. VScreen is an option. I think there's remind me, Deborah, there's a connection.
Yeah, Homes.com, so their websites that Homes.com sells has VScreen as an option. So it's like one of the best automated videos you could have. So if people don't want to get into all of this but want to have videos, you could buy a Homes.com website, which then has the option of using VScreen.
Right. So there's definitely some intermediate options in my mind. You know, if you want to dip your toe in the water and get going, you know, the other one, like Animoto, is one that's evolved over time. So they incorporate a little bit of video in there now. But I think there's a certain point where you have to take the leap. There's been a little bit of like, oh, the virtual tours, you know, the moving pictures, and then those have been pushed out onto YouTube. My feeling is you are frustrating the people who stumble across those, because they know where to find that stuff. They can get that on the real estate websites. So if you're touting, you know, more information or more details, and it's just a repackaged version of what's already available to them, I think you're doing a disservice to your seller, personally. So, oh, this is another tip that I do feel like is really important. And when I look at my videos, for me, one of the things, and again, right or wrong, I probably spend a disproportionate amount of time. There's a video with a little dog in it, and I remember messaging Marguerite, like, what do you think of this song? But spending an extra 10, 15, 20, sometimes $25 to buy a good royalty-free song to put into your video. Again, when we talk about emotion and the power of video, music is a big part of that. So these are just a couple of the sites you could go to and search for music. You have to do, this is a pro tip. Pro tip, once you buy these, sometimes YouTube will still flag you as, and you will have advertising appear on your video, even though you think you've purchased a song and have a license to it. There's an option to go in and protest that, and a little paragraph about the license that you've purchased that you can insert in there. Take that extra step so your beautiful videos are not overshadowed by ads.
Another thing I'll say about that is I was not aware of this when I first started doing videos. So my bio video still has free music on it, and I get like wound up when I watch another video and I'm like, that's my song. Like, I didn't know. And like now I'm like, oh, you know, like I should probably go back and just change it, because it is kind of, it becomes sort of part of your brand, and the likelihood of another agent using one of your you know, your bio video song, if you buy it for 25 bucks on SoundCloud or Audio Jungle, is pretty low. And also, I mean, 25 bucks is a lot. I mean, there's plenty of songs out there that are $5, and it's just, it's like buying a stock photo. It's worth it.
Right, right. Next month. I was getting into talking to people.
So we went halfway down this road and talked a little bit about some of the places that you can share your video once it's made. I think the biggest thing is establishing some sort of a map, you know, and it needs to be, like Marguerite was alluding to earlier, often there needs to be a sequence. So you want to make sure that everything ties back into each other. I mean, just like other, you know, blog posts and that kind of thing, you're creating the web on the internet and tying it all back ideally to your website.
You know, and I admit, like, I will tell you, like, my process, my distribution process is I make my blog post, and on my blog, it has those sharing buttons, right? Like, on all the blogs, you see those social sharing buttons. I just go down the row. Like, I sit in front of my computer, I'm like, okay, just finished my blog post, you know, share to LinkedIn, share to Facebook, tweet this. And each one, you know, I customize it a little bit differently. I pin it and I introduce it in a different way. And like, you know, it's not like, you know, Hootsuite it out and they're all introduced exactly the same way. I don't do that. Like and I think it takes less than 10 minutes. I mean, the whole distribution process is pretty straightforward.
That's for you, because you're professional.
What?
But I think the part is, again, if you don't already have all of these channels set up, for one thing, if you haven't gone in and set up your YouTube channel and personalized it. And
okay, the first time I set up my YouTube channel, I cried.
I mean,
and I Googled a lot. It was hard.
YouTube is, it's
They
brutal.
make it hard.
It is brutal. I agree.
Just know you're not alone. Nobody
But
told
it's free.
me I thought I was the stupidest person in the world, but you're not.
And then they move buttons around.
They move them
regularly. But you, if you're going to start making videos, commit to YouTube or Vimeo and get a channel set up with your information and your branding and a link to your website. I mean, what's the point otherwise? And make it look like a professional destination. Please, please, please use playlists on YouTube.
Yeah.
And make it easy for people to find your videos. So if you pick a couple of channels initially and use that for distribution, but you have to do something other than having your video person upload it and park it on your channel and leave it there. I mean, nobody's going to bump into it that way. So thinking about, obviously, you know, email is a way you can get it out there. You can clearly post a link on Facebook or do a direct upload on Facebook. You can tweet out a link, but you need to do it in an appropriate way.
I also think it's a really good idea to send it to your seller, because they probably can share it and they will get lots of clicks and they will feel special. I think that's a step I'm so surprised so many listing agents miss. Like, just send them an email and say, this is the link we want you to share. When you share the listing, I see so often in my peer group people sharing listings and they're sharing the link to Zillow or they're sharing the link to Redfin because they
don't have anything else to share.
They don't think it matters, and they don't really know.
Well, and I'll go ahead and say that a beautiful listing video, in my experience, is probably the nicest closing gift you can give to a seller who's leaving their home. It's never looked better. I mean, it's a really beautiful thing when you're getting ready to launch and you show them that video. And I always burn a copy of those for them or put it on a thumb drive and give it to them at closing, because that's a special memory and they want to take that with them. So have a plan. For the uninitiated, I think it can take a good hour to get,
You'll get faster. Don't worry. Don't be discouraged. You'll get faster.
To get all this stuff set up, or if you're going to hire or have an admin do it, I mean, you definitely need to have that mapped out. So this is a good example. Erin's an agent in our market. Somebody helped her get going.
I helped her with her blog. You can see her blog at celebratepwallop.com. And I just think she's such a good example. You know, she has her neighborhood video in the sidebar. If she has a list, she does really great listing photography galleries in all of her blog posts. If she has a video, it's embedded in the post. Like, it's just a really good example of the home base where your videos can live. And I just think that that's, you know, if somebody clicks on the video from Facebook, they're surrounded by her contact information and her propaganda. Like, that's exactly what you want. You want them coming into your web and feeling like, wow, this is a really high quality agent. You know, that's the impression that you want to give off. Right. And I think she just does a great job with that.
So another channel that we've touched on is Facebook, obviously. And shout out to Raj and Jeremy and Erin, the boutique group. If you don't know who they are, if you're on this webinar and you're listening to us talk about video and you don't know who these guys are, you need to travel on over to their website and see some of the incredible things that they do.
They're kind of setting the standard.
Yeah, yeah, and they're definitely in the luxury realm, but they're very inspiring. And they have the distribution piece down pat. So they do a great job with their other channels. And that's a good example of a company Facebook page. This is a good opportunity to say, you might have heard conflicting reports on Facebook business pages being dead. They are not dead. Do not, resuscitate your page if you have let it die, because you need that for this distribution.
Mm-hmm.
Another one.
Anna Marguerite, just a little interrupt here. We're nearly at the hour, but I was wondering if everyone would like to stay on, because there's a bunch of questions here that we could get to that we probably won't. We were wondering, maybe after Hillary's presentation, we could have you back on and answer them, or we could send you the questions and you could answer them on your blog or our blog. So let us know what you want to do.
Whatever works for people. We can hang for a couple more minutes for sure.
All right. Okay. Great.
We'll hustle through these last ones, because I think this distribution piece is important.
Yes.
So
let's sit through them.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Marguerite's YouTube channel looks awesome, right?
Yes.
It looks like all the rest of my stuff, so you can tell it's a Marguerite page and everything's sorted into playlists. So that's good.
Yep.
Next.
So Instagram, somebody just popped up last night and asked me a question, what's the app you use to create that on Instagram? There's not a ton of shortcuts for video on Instagram. It's still a little bit labor intensive, but I try to tease some of my listing videos out with a 15-second clip on Instagram. That's a channel, again, it was already an established channel for me, so that's effective. If nobody's there watching you on Instagram, then you're not going to have anyone to send your video to. So you want to think about building up the following on some of these channels, and then obviously pushing your content out once you've done that. But this is another channel you can use. Google Plus, there's an option right out of YouTube to share to Google Plus. So when you upload a video, in fact, that was how some of our early videos got discovered. Shout out to Greg Fisher.
Hi, Greg.
It was uploading stuff and sorting it into playlists, and it was auto-loading to Twitter at the time. And so all these notifications were going out, and Greg said, hey, what is this? And plugged into our first series of videos. So Google Plus, I get a lot of interaction still if I post a video to Google Plus. So put that in your list. Speaking of Twitter.
Yeah, Heather is one of and her husband Steve Ostrom from Roseville and Rockland in California. They're really great at distributing stuff on Twitter, and I think it's a really powerful way to connect with your community. And the thing is we're talking about this great content. You're spending all this money, you're putting all this thought and effort and attention, you're making something really good that people are going to want to see. So it'll be much easier to be in these channels and be on Instagram and be on Twitter if you're sharing good stuff. So you're going to have something good to share.
They're more receptive. Stacy
at Live Urban, and they're so good at pinning. They have pinned all their videos. They say now that 30% of all web traffic is driven by Pinterest, which is insane to think about. I feel like that's not my experience, but I look on my website and I'm like, there's a lot coming in from Pinterest, and I'm not even as diligent of a pinner as I should be. Not like Stacy here.
So, and that's Stacy's organizer for Genuine Hustle next week. And this is a great channel, and these are sort of two separate things. So you can use BombBomb as a way to reach out and push some videos, easy integration with email, doing a newsletter and either reusing existing content. So like when Marguerite throws out a newsletter, she can tag on one of our old videos if she wants to, or like the Divas have done here, and they're pushing out a new listing. But email's not dead, guys. It's another really good channel if you're pushing good content. And I think we've talked about a lot of these, so we could probably, in the interest of time, skip over this part.
Okay. All right. And then we're at the end here, and we've got a couple of slides for you to talk about what's coming up.
Oh, just, you know, this is a full package. So this is a standalone website for a really cool waterfront property I have. The URL obviously there, downtown Gig Harbor waterfront, but it has a lifestyle video, information on the property, you know, the photo gallery. I mean, everything packaged.
Community video.
Yeah, so our company has a really great community video, so that's included there, and, you know, a good chance to drive traffic.
I'm working on a blog called createanawesomerealestateblog.com. It has not launched yet, but hopefully it'll be on this week. So if you want to go there and sign up, I'll send you an email when it comes on, but I'm going to be talking more along the lines of this distribution business, how to get your good stuff out there.
Great.
And we'll both be talking about those topics next.
And then just to,
Want to come and join us.
Oh, there we are.
No, I jumped because we had talked about that. And you guys get a little break here.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to hang in there, that'd be great. And
We'll be here.
Hillary will give her quick presentation, then we'll get back to the questions. Is that okay?
We'll be here.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to mute camera and mic, so I'll bring you back in 6 seconds.
Yeah. So, Hillary, are you there?
Hey, everybody. How are you?
Hey, good, good.
Good. Really good information today. This was a super informative webinar. I really enjoyed watching it and learning kind of all the video tips. So I thought it was really good. I'm going to go through our Local Connect product today. So Local Connect is a fairly new product for Homes.com. We're currently sitting at about a 22% sellout rate. So that has been accomplished over the last 8 weeks. So if there was ever a time to act on some marketing and lock up your zip codes, today would be the day to do it. The phone number down there is at the bottom. Let me go through it and show you guys what Local Connect is. What is Local Connect? So Local Connect is the opportunity for agents and brokers to advertise on free or non-client listings on Homes.com. So basically, Homes.com has, you know, an aggregator where we pull listings from pretty much everywhere. We have MLS partnerships all across the United States. 68% of the listings on Homes.com are available for advertising, meaning they're unsponsored listings, if you will. So what happened was 5-6 months ago, we realized we had a ridiculous amount of leads being generated on our website. And unfortunately, those leads were not getting phone calls. And as a company, that was sort of the worst case scenario, because if those clients, those consumers, buyers, sellers are not getting phone calls, the likelihood of them using Homes.com in the future and or recommending us to their friends and family is pretty low. We needed to make sure those phone calls were happening, so we invented the Local Connect product. Currently, 90% of Homes.com visitors are actively searching for their next home. I've been asked recently, how do we know that? We do survey the leads that we generate just for kind of fun to find out, you know, when are they planning on buying? Did they buy? That kind of thing. So these are current statistics. And let's see, how does Local Connect work? Local Connect works via impressions. They are sold at the zip code level. Mel, are you good? Okay. Impressions, excuse me, are sold at the zip code level. So that means that you can own a portion of your zip code. What's really nice is we include mobile and desktop impressions together. And then the max buyout per agent is 1/3 of the available zip code. And the reason we do that is we would not want a consumer to have just one agent's face to look at on a listing, right? That feels sort of forced to that buyer or that seller. We want them to have options and, you know, choices essentially. So if you look here, this is what a Local Connect ad looks like. At the top will always be the listing agent. We try to be the good guy in this industry, and we want to make sure that we are always providing the lead to the listing agent. So that consumer does not have the option to uncheck the listing agent, but they do have the option to check or uncheck all of the agents underneath. So what I am talking about at the moment, this Local Connect product, is the ability to purchase a spot right here under the listing agent. This is what it looks like on a desktop. This is a little bit of a blow up. We do have the opportunity to add a preferred badge to your name. What's nice about being preferred is, you know, just like a VIP membership at your local Costco, it makes you stand out just a little bit more. So as you can tell, Daryl here in this photo just looks a little bit more important. I remember Marguerite and they were discussing earlier about how important it is to just look like you care that much more, right? The nicer the quality of the video, the more it looks like you care about your business. Same concept here. If you get that preferred badge, it just looks like you're that much more important to that consumer. This is what it would look like on a tablet or a mobile device. So like I said, mobile and desktop are included in this product. Most companies separate these products out to sort of maximize their own revenue. For us at Homes.com, it's more important that, you know, we're giving you a complete package. We don't want you to feel cornered into one or the other. We want to make sure that you're getting that entire zip code, your 1/3 share, whether it's on a mobile or a desktop device. You're not missing out on anything. That's what it looks like. So the basics, zip code pricing increases as availability decreases. Max buyout is 1/3 of an available zip code per person. But don't worry, if you're a team, have your whole team come on board. We have no problem doing that. Preferred status is an extra $99.95 a month, which is a steal because it also includes preferred status for all of your own listings on Homes.com, which is nice. If you choose to prepay, you get a 10 or 20% discount. Are there any questions for me at this time? Let me see
Hillary,
here.
thank you. Yeah, sorry about the mic was on when Mel was speaking, but
We had so many questions for our guests. Let's wade through and make sure that there aren't any sitting there for you as well. In fact, type them in now.
if you have those questions, yeah.
Get them in.
Hillary, why don't you stay on the line? And
sure.
We'll go back to Marguerite and Anne. And
well, there's questions about the cost and.
Oh, you didn't say the cost.
Yep, there are cost questions coming in, and how do you check availability?
That's a really great question. It is going to depend on availability. I can tell you that the minimum share, if you will, is going to sit around $25 per zip code, and then the max zip code is going to depend. So what we do is we break out every zip code in the United States based on the housing market price, right? Like 90210, most famous zip code in the world. That person should not be charged the same as somebody in Billings, Montana, right? Because the homes in that area are just not worth the same amount. They're all worth a different amount. So 90210, you know, for a full share, yeah, you're looking at $2,100, $2,000, somewhere around there. Billings, Montana, you know, it would kind of depend, $100, $150, but we are talking about, you know, leads on detail listing pages. So you know, it's a very lucrative product, and you know, anybody who has any detailed questions about availability, give us a call, 888-510-8795.
Thank you, Hillary. And if other people ask product questions, I will send those questions to Hillary and make sure you put in your phone number so she can give you a call after this webinar. Thank you, Hillary. And now we'll go back to Anne and Marguerite. You still there?
I got to unmute them and give them a camera, and they will be here.
Hopefully they'll be, there you are. Okay, great. I have a question that was asked on Twitter. What if you're pregnant? Should you wait and do video after?
No.
No, that's perfect.
No, talk about authentic. No, I mean, but again, just being real, and your hairstyles change and things. I mean, things change. Like that's being a human.
Yeah, I've got braces right now. You know, I can't wait until I don't have braces anymore. And I mean, honestly, I have talked to so many people. Like, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds, and then I'm gonna start with video. And they're not joking. You know, they're sincere. They're like, yes, I'm working on losing some weight, and then I'll do video. And it's like, you know, like, don't put your life on hold. Don't put your career on hold because you have some physical imperfections or a temporary pregnancy.
I think that's great. Not to mention, I mean, there's always the option of shooting like we're shooting right now, but why not?
Yeah.
I mean, didn't Scully do that on the X-Files? Wasn't she pregnant a whole season and nobody knew?
That's
you
right.
can do it. You'll be fine.
Okay, Rhonda asks, is there some type of disclaimer or release that you have your client sign?
Oh, for the testimonial video?
Yes.
You can find them on the internet. There is if you Google video release form, you can find them. Although I'll tell you honestly, and I know this is probably something I'm falling down on. I haven't done it. I mean, I guess any day my client could call and be like, you know, I'm sick of seeing that on the internet. But I think if my client did that anyway, I would probably take it down.
Edit them out of the video.
Yeah, I think if there ever came a day when someone didn't want to be in any of the videos, I'd just take it down.
Okay, cool. And Julie said, what is the etiquette law about filming people in public places like coffee shops, farmers markets that you showed on your video?
So like where I shot the video we were talking about earlier, the one I just shot for a listing recently, we went into 2 local bars that are really popular, and I asked each of the owners if it was okay. And then we shot sort of discreet, like back of head type shots, you know, so with permission. And of
with
course,
children, you need to be so careful
right.
not to get faces.
Right. Like I have a video at the pool in a community here in town, and we went when it was quiet, and I specifically asked the parents if it was okay, and then we shot from a distance where it wasn't obvious. I mean, most people, it's the permission piece. And when it's pretty hard to hide someone who's walking around with like a camera and a tripod. And so you get a sense very quickly of who's uncomfortable. I mean, that's the other thing. So when we went into one of the bars, the bartender initially was a little reluctant. And I said, hey, you know, you can be out of the frame or you can turn your back to us. And once we started chatting with her, suddenly she let us shoot the footage. So I think you just need to be really respectful.
Well, and I think that there's a real answer, which is get a release for every person in your videos.
Right.
And then there's like the practical, like, this is what we're doing. We haven't been sued yet. Take it with, you know, take as you will.
All right, great. Very good. Billy wants to know, how long do you leave the video on YouTube for sale? When the property sells, do you change the heading to sold?
I do. So I go in and mine, I try to put a list date, and of course YouTube dates everything as you upload it anyway, but then when it changes, I say sold by instead of, you know, the listing. Largely regulated by our MLS also. You have to keep your marketing information current. So each market, I'm sure, is a little bit different, but I have to take mine down or update it.
Okay. And then I know we've kind of touched on this. Cindy wants to know, what's the typical cost of doing a video? I know sometimes it's $100 an hour for the videographer.
I mean, I think if you've got a reasonably priced videographer, you know, under $500 for a more average type of property. But we know that a produced sort of higher end look with a script and maybe actors, you know, that can go to a few $1,000s. It just depends on what you're putting together. So scaling video is challenging. I remember hearing Raj talk about this last summer at Inman Connect, and you know, they have an in-house video team. There's a couple other, you know, M Realty out of Portland, Oregon. They have an in-house video team. As an individual agent, you just need to assemble your team.
Well, and I think when it comes to listing agents, you know, every house is different and the approach has to be different, so the cost is a little bit higher. We've managed to save money with our Q&A type videos where we're answering questions and talking about different topics by batching them.
Yeah.
And that's been the key, not only to just getting it done, because Anne is a very busy lady, but but also to saving on costs. So we just sit down for 2 or 3 hours and film 5 videos, and we change our shirts in between so it looks like a different day. Maybe we move across the room. You know, we take it up a little bit, but that has been the way to be, first of all, most efficient with time, and second of all, definitely saves money.
Also, I think the aspect of, you know, there is still, even for, you know, semi-professionals like us, there's still a little bit of a warm-up period when you're shooting those videos where you were on camera.
The last video is always better than the first.
Yeah, so we kind of, you know, when we shoot those in a group like that, it's cost effective, but it's also a little more enjoyable.
Right. I was actually wondering, did you scrap the first 5 videos you did just because you were getting used to it and getting used to watching?
Nope.
They're out there.
That one with the lemons was one of our very first videos.
Oh, really?
So to change our shirts, like, I'm giggling and I nod my head a lot. Like, I nod my head like the entire video. It's very irritating.
But it's one of the reasons that we have left it out there, because it's all about being honest and encouraging other people to do it.
Well, it seems like the key, anyway, for helping with self-consciousness is having someone else there.
It doesn't hurt.
To connect to, so you go, oh, this is a real person.
The repetition. I mean, just doing it and just coming to terms with who you are, how you look, and how you sound. It's healthy.
Right. One last question. Dana wants to know, do you ask questions to your clients on camera when you ask your clients to do testimonials, or do they just talk about their experience?
Yeah, we asked questions. And so what I did, I talked to the cameraman before we went in to interview my clients. And I said, look, if they seem weird, I'm just going to leave. And these are just the main questions I want to know. Why did they choose their neighborhood? What did they think of my communication style? And would they use me again, and why? Like, I'm trying to elicit those answers. But when I was actually there, I kept saying, like, do you guys want me to leave? Like, is this weird? And they're like, no, whatever. No, it's fine. So I actually said, like, what did you think of my communication style? And then just answer, like, I'm not here.
Oh,
like,
right.
Marguerite texted me, you know, like, they would answer the question that way. It wasn't hard. I mean, it'd be nice if I didn't have to be there and it could all just be this beautiful surprise. But again, budget, I was there.
Yeah, right. But that's really good to know. That's really good to know. Mel, I think that's it. Can you see any questions that we haven't answered here?
I don't, and if there are questions for either Marguerite or Anne or Hillary as well, go ahead and type those in and we'll make sure that we route them to the right place.
Yeah. Wow, you guys have gone way above anything we've ever expected from speakers. So thank you so much for hanging in there and answering these questions. I know everyone's appreciating it. Many people are like, wow, this was an amazing webinar. So thank you so much, you guys. I'd love to have you back. And
thank you for having us.
Oh, our pleasure. Maybe someday we can get you back, but
that would be fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye. We'll take the video down. And Hillary, thank you for your presentation. Do you have anything else you want to say, Hillary?
She was telling me she had to run, so I officially let her run.
All right, no problem. Everyone, you have to sign up for Tom Ferry. I've read his book. It's a great book. He's very helpful. He has so many dimensions to him in helping real estate agents become wealthy and successful. Sign up, even if that time doesn't work for you, because we'll send you a link in the email afterwards. So to our listening audience, thank you very much. And once you exit this webinar, you will get a window coming up saying, would you like to answer a few survey questions or not? Please select yes, because I love getting feedback from you and hearing what you liked and what you didn't like. So that's my main wish for you today. Mel, anything else?
That's it. Thanks for everybody's exciting presentation.
Yeah.
And participating with our presenters.
Yeah. Thanks again to Marguerite and Anne and Hillary and our webinar team. Goodbye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day.